Merry meet and welcome back to Tarot Tuesday. I am Ruan, and this week we have a very exciting week, as there has been a lot of events occurring within our world. A little about me for those new to my work. From the age of 7, I knew I was psychic. I spoke with them over there, and I saw prophetic visions. In a culture which criticizes or violently attacks those who speak out, I did what any kid would do. I learned that I had to be careful who I told because my own family wouldn't listen to me. My friends would not listen to me. I journaled extensively and placed what I saw on paper. Over the years, though, I was relentlessly persecuted for my beliefs, and over time, all of them, every last one of them, were destroyed. My father consistently scoured my room for any sign of my witchcraft or anything hinting at it. Ever since social media became a thing, I've been outspoken about what I foresaw and continue to foresee. Do I claim to be some sort of prophet? Of course not. These gifts aren't honestly anything special. Everyone has the capability to develop and harness these things. I received mine from working with my allies, even before I knew what to call them. This is what began Tarot Tuesday. I was asked by my familiar spirits to do these videos to help guide others into what is going to be a tumultuous time. I realize that not all of my words are everyone's cup of tea or coffee. Many of you will malign me, call me a fraud. But if you continue to watch these videos with an open and discerning mind, you too can begin to see how events unfold. This week, we have seen the rise of aggressions across the face of the great grandmother of us all, China slowly annexing whole towns of Bhutan, the rising aggression between China and Taiwan. This world is indeed in turmoil, and the end result will always be war. This time, it is going to get bad. Nations will get desperate and toss off all the accepted rules of warfare, and it will get dirty again. Biological terrorism, and eventually, nuclear weapons. These are things I've foreseen for over 30 years. The end result is always the same. The nodal points, those key events, may change as choices are made, but the end is always the same: nuclear annihilation and the near extinction of mankind. We need to quit looking at history in terms of World War I or World War II, but realize that they are all part of the same actual war. A war started thousands of years ago. Now, prescience is the ability to cognitively intuit future events based on an almost mathematical equation. And it is simple. The more information you have, the easier to see the flow. And some people are born with the ability to make these intuitions based on receiving information from those who have further sight than ourselves, the very fates themselves, the Fayerie. Now, on every Tarot Tuesday, looking at these current events, I utilize the tarot deck to communicate with my familiar spirits. Now, this week is going to be very interesting because the first card that I pulled was the Justice card. Now, Justice is a tarot card, is a symbol of truth, of fairness and law. As she sits in her chair, the scales in her left hand represent how intuition should balance logic. She symbolizes impartiality with a double-edged sword in her right hand. The clarity in thought, which is required to dispense justice, are symbolized by the square on the crown she wears. Behind her, there is a purple cloak and standing gray pillars. Beneath her red cloak, which is held together by a clasp, she shows the tip of a white shoe. This is a spiritual reminder that what she delivers are the outcomes of their actions. Now, this is on a world scene. Now, if you find any hints of wisdom for your own life, please embrace it, because that is also what Tarot Tuesday is about. The decisions that are made now will have long-term effects in all things, both for yourself and for others. There will always come a time where you will be judged. Now, the Justice Tarot card appearing in the spread signals that a judgment will be made fairly and accordingly. The decisions that you have made in the past will be carefully weighed with fairness. Now, your feelings around this card may differ depending on your individual situations. But since we are speaking on a greater stage, there is definitely something very fateful behind these actions that China and Russia and many others are perpetuating at this time. There is always an end goal. Now, if you have been wronged, this card's appearance may bring you relief. This also goes for these countries that have been attacked. Let's put it bluntly. We are already in a war. These are the first simmerings of it. Let's look at the people of Taiwan, of the Philippines, of Ukraine. Let's think of these people when we think about justice. Now, we all may not like war, and I may know the end result is nuclear annihilation, but sometimes it is important to stand up for what is right. Now, if your actions have caused pain to others, this card serves as a warning. Her appearance represents a chance for you to change your actions now for a better future. It is time to account for your actions. And I speak to you leaders of this world, to really think on what you are doing, why you are doing it, and what the end goal is. Because this card heralds the beginning of the next phase. Now, another meaning of the Justice card is truth. Truth must come to pass, and this cannot be found from the mouths and gossips of others. Instead, it is based on facts. Learn the truth about others and yourself. Speak and know the truth before passing a judgment. We see this card, we need to be fair in all of our deeds. By following the right procedure to learn the truth, you will understand what your tasks are. But it also symbolizes that attention is needed. It could be about your life, career, or just any important decision that you need to make. As individuals, as communities, as nations, and as members of the human race. But it is also about karma. So, if you've been putting in certain efforts, then you know what the end result will be. It's about cause and effect. And we have seen and we knew that this was on the horizon. And it's because it is a self-fulfilling prophecy. All of this could be and can be changed. The only reason I say that there will be a nuclear annihilation is because enough people hold the belief that that's what is going to happen. Just like the 99th monkey effect, we can create this change in our belief systems. Now, the second card I picked is the moon. Now, the moon is about intuition, but also illusions, vagueness and instability, the subconscious, insecurity, and misconceptions. The general meaning of this card is that everything is not as it seems. That there's a situation or a person in your life that is not what they appear to be. And you need to trust what your instincts are telling you in order to see past this illusion. The moon also indicates that you should pay attention to your dreams, as your subconscious may be bringing your attention to some information you've missed. The moon can also signify that you are letting your anxiety or fear overwhelm you, which may be having a negative effect on your outlook, causing you to suffer significantly. This is also telling us to look. Now, I know many people are going to sit there and he and haw about this, but there is indeed more proofs being put out that it is very, very possible that this pandemic was indeed caused, made on its own by mankind, that it may indeed have originated in a laboratory. Now, am I saying it's necessarily this virus? No, because these things do happen. When mankind breaks the ancient harmonies, death is bound to happen. We can only take so much before the debt is required to be paid. So I was reading an article that there was a document put out by the Department of Defense from China among their scientists that it was indeed possible that they were thinking about weaponizing a coronavirus or another pandemic-wide virus. Are we surprised? No. Our governments are capable of anything. And just because they sign a deal does not mean that's what they're doing. And so, look at your politics. Look at what you read in the news. Those can easily have misdirections. As part of the Fayerie faith, we believe in what we can see. We believe in what can possibly be. But facts speak for themselves. There is very much a possibility that this was all contrived. Now, am I saying that we need to start pushing for war? No. There is always and more of a humane way of handling these things. And the moon is telling us not to give in to these dodgy ideas, but to look at the facts. We have professionals in these arenas for these specific reasons. Now, we can depersonalize each individual and claim that they're all part of a conspiracy, but the realistic fact of the matter is that 98% of these people, if there was a conspiracy, are ill-informed and really are not behind the veil of it. If there is indeed a evil cabal pushing for world domination, and there could possibly be, look at the 1%. That is what my guide, my ally is saying right now. Look to the 1%. And then finally, the last card is the Two of Cups. The Two of Cups shows a man and woman exchanging cups and pledging their loyalty. Above them floats the Caduceus of Hermes. A wing exchange. At the top of the caduceus is a lion's head, signifying passion and fire and energy, suggesting that there may be a lot of fiery sexual energy between these two people. This is telling us that from great destruction comes great renewal. Now is the time to look towards our relationships. And I'm not necessarily mentioning romantic relationships, but how we have relationships with other than human entities, formerly human entities, and every single living being upon this planet. We are in this time of spring, and before I came to do this video, I was working on my own garden. It is time to prepare for the inrush of change and renewal. But this isn't necessarily just about the seasons and the cycles of the earth. This is about our own lives, about our own nations. For everything has a cycle. Everything is part of a plan. Everything is part of what is fatefully meant to occur. You to look towards your homes, look towards your family, but ever be mindful of the moon card. There are illusions and deceit happening, and there will be justice for these wrongs that is occurring. And so I ask you to really look at the news, have a discerning mind, and as the Christians would say, you, me, everyone has knowing what is really going on in the world around us. We are an intimate part of the web of life. Our actions have far-reaching consequences. Our thoughts inspire our actions, and our beliefs inspire them all. So I ask you to really, really, really think about what is going on and to really think about where you want to go in this next step. I swear that someone, somewhere out there, will hear our pleas and cries for peace, and that we treat each other truly humanely, not what we claim, not what we actually do, but what we claim and would wish to have happen. Every religion at its basis that we have words about goes back to the idea of treat others how you want to be treated. I mean, seriously. If you can't do anything nice, don't do anything at all. But that also means that you have to take responsibility. And so, this next week, to really seriously take a look at the news, read through the videos that I have presented before, and so gauge where we are before. There are pieces of the puzzle strewn throughout all my videos. And I honestly hope and I honestly pray that I am absolutely wrong about all this. And I would like to give a shout out here at the end of our show to all my patrons. You guys allow me to continue doing what I do, putting out these videos and providing guidance, healing, and happiness to other people. So VJ, Jill, Elaine, Angad, Amy, Dwayne, and Ian, thank you very much for your kindly monthly donations. They are definitely appreciated. And if you're not a patron, you can go to patreon.com/RuanDHeydon and sign up. If you want to know what kind of services I present, you can go to my website, ruandheydon.com. Every Tuesday, I do this episode. Every Friday, for my patrons, I do a Fayerie Friday. We do a study group going over various texts and information. And right now, we are currently in Chapter 2 of Ankaro Gwyn by Robin Artisan. And on Sundays, I do a video series called A Dragon's Voice. And it is the basis of this ministry, of my work as a fairy traditionalist. And right now we are going through the Oath of Belonging, which is a set of fairy faith as I practice it. We are this next week, this Sunday, we are touching upon Oath Phrase 6. And I hope you will all be there. Make sure, share this video, share my channel, make sure that you're subscribed, hit the bell icon, And may you never hunger, may you never thirst, and may the good neighbors bless you and yours. So mote it be.